What is going on, guys? We are back for another episode of our trade breakdown series. In today's episode, I'm gonna be walking you guys through exactly how I returned over 400% on Google puts this past Friday. I'm gonna be walking you through this trade step by step from start to finish. Let's get into it right now. All right, guys, hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos so far. If you are, make sure you guys leave us a like. It helps out a ton. And also, if you guys would like to join us for live trading inside the Discord and daily live streams, you can click the link below in the replies and use the code STREAM20 and get 20% off. Now, let's get into this trade on Google, guys. Like I said, I took this trade into this past Friday. This was actually a swing that I entered on Thursday afternoon, guys. I'm going to walk through my full entry and exit. But first, we really want to understand where this trade is coming from. I try to keep these recaps as simple as possible, guys. So we're going to start off here on the Google daily chart. As you guys know, higher time frames are key, and this setup that I took was based on the hourly chart. This is a simple setup, guys, honestly, in my eyes, that keeps things very, very clean. I use this setup on a regular basis when trading the short side, and I wanted to kind of break it down in depth to you guys because it's very easy to identify, and I really think, like I said, this was really a smooth trade. So wanted to walk through it. Here's the daily chart on Google. Obviously, like I said, guys, you can see that we've been clearly trading in a range on Google for an extended period of time, right? We've got about 20 days worth of trading here between the 126 and 133 area of resistance, right? We can clearly identify that we have support on this chart in 126 to 128, and we've got a lot of overhead resistance here on the daily, guys, at this 133 into that 134 level, right? Our prior daily highs were at that 133.72 level. Now, why is this important to the overall thesis of this trade? Well, I entered this trade on Thursday. You can see right here, this big red candle is actually Thursday's daily candle on Google. Now, the reason, and point one of conviction on this trade, guys, was we had a false breakout on the daily on Google. These are often some of the best shorting opportunities. You'll often hear me use the phrase, the best shorts are failed breakouts and the best longs are failed breakdowns. Thus, when we see price reject at a major area of resistance like this, we know that we have huge resistance here. After 20 days of trading, we haven't been able to break over these highs, and failed breakouts are automatically on the daily one of my favorite short setups. Now, oftentimes when we get these failed breakouts inside of these tight ranges like this, we'll often test the bottom end of the range. So that's really confirmation point number one, right? Is a failed breakout at the top of the range on the daily. Now, the second point, and truly what caused me to take an entry here, right, and fit my system, was we actually had an hourly break of trend, right? So this is the Google hourly chart, guys, and this is where really I got my entry confirmed. If we look, we clearly had a nice uptrend going on the Google hourly chart, right? We had obviously made a low on 821, and we had bounced off of this trend line 4 separate times before we really saw that parabolic move up on the 23rd, guys. We pushed sideways, NVIDIA earnings came out, and then we actually tried to push out of that daily breakout range on Google, right? We broke that previous high in that 133.72 area. We pushed all the way into 135 in pre-market, guys, and then we really sold off hard at the open, right? I actually traded Google twice on this day, once for an intraday trade off the open, but really the big trade here and what generated that 400% return on the swing, guys, was I actually swung puts overnight once we closed below this hourly trend line, right? So this is the hourly time frame, guys. I personally love the hourly time frame because it's a higher time frame setup. And again, obviously, you've heard the saying in the past, when in doubt, zoom out. My entry here on Google, guys, as you can see right here, I tweeted out my entry to the Discord live at 3:25 p.m. on August 24th, right? So that's right here as we're getting into the close of trade on Thursday. I took the Google 127 puts, right? And I'm going to explain why I took that strike in a minute for $9 per contract, and I took 125 of those contracts. Why did I take the 127 puts? Well, like I said, guys, I am a more aggressive trader, right? I could have taken, next week's expiration, but I knew that we had a failed breakdown set up on the daily. We had our hourly chart breaking down below this key uptrend line, guys. And these are two main ingredients that fuel some of the best downside moves that I have personally seen throughout my trading career. So once we confirmed with an hourly close below the setup, guys, I entered those Google puts right here in that 130 50 area. And like I said, we got actually a really nice close on Google, but my thought process behind taking the 127 puts, guys, was we actually would get a test of the bottom of that range, which is what I mentioned before. Oftentimes on those failed breakouts, we end up testing the bottom of the range because traders want to see that that area is still a major support level, right? And all of the liquidity that came in here above those daily highs, right, is now underwater. So that creates additional selling pressure to the downside. That's called sweeping the highs, right? So my target on this trade aggressively was to get a test of that 126.38 level or 127 level on the hourly into Friday, right? And that is actually exactly what we got, guys. As you can see, this is the Friday open here on Google, guys. We actually tested that 127 target almost perfectly. We got a test of 127.25, guys. That resulted in over a 400% return on these Google puts, guys. I actually ended up selling 115 of 125 of those contracts, guys, at over 386%, which you can see right here, 332%, guys. I sold 115 of 125 contracts. These went all the way to $45 per contract, guys, from a $9 per contract entry point. That resulted in over a 400% return on this trade, guys, in a little under 15 hours total. This was a swing trade, which are honestly some of my favorite types of trades. This can be a difficult market to swing, guys. Like I said, especially with shorter term expirations, you have to be extremely tactical. However, I wanted to highlight this hourly breakdown setup and that failed breakout at the highs as really one of my key conviction points for taking these short side trades. This is a fantastic setup, guys, that you can honestly identify, with relatively simple, steps, right? This doesn't take a lot. You really have to be able to just zoom out on that hourly chart, find those key uptrend lines, on the short side and really take advantage of these, guys. So like I said, it was a very simple trade. I wanted to highlight those conviction points that went into it. And like I said, guys, it ended up being a fantastic move. So like I said, this is one of my best short side setups. You can identify this setup relatively easily throughout the market. I hope you guys enjoyed this trade breakdown video. If you'd like to see more, don't forget to leave us a like, leave us a reply, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.